With the Fox News alert, the U.S. striking 3 facilities in Iraq used by Iranian-backed militants. The act of retaliation comes after 3 U.S. service members were hurt in an attack on a base in northern Iraq.
And fighting is raging along the Israel-Gaza border. About half an hour ago, the, quote, Iron Dome intercepting multiple rockets fired from northern Gaza. This comes after Iran's president issuing a threat against Israel after one of their commanders was killed in Syria. Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Trey?
Hey guys, good morning. Overnight, President Biden ordered the U.S. military to strike a series of targets belonging to Iran-backed Iraqi Shia militias. According to U.S. Central Command, 3 strikes destroyed the targeted facilities and likely killed a number of Kataib Hezbollah militants. The attacks came in response to a drone strike against the Erbil air base that houses U.S. service members. 3 Americans were injured in that attack, 1 critically. This does bring the total number of attacks against American interests in the Middle East to 103 since mid-October. U.S. Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin released a statement after the response saying, quote, "Let me be clear. The president and I will not hesitate to take necessary action to defend the United States, our troops, and our interest. There is no higher priority. While we do not seek to escalate conflict in the region, we are committed and fully prepared to take further necessary measures to protect our people and our facilities." This does come after Israeli forces remain on high alert following an airstrike yesterday in Syria that killed IRGC commander Saeed Razi Mousavi. In response to that strike, Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi said, quote, "The act is a sign of the Zionist regime frustration and weakness in the region, for which it will certainly pay the price." Now, the possibility of a broader conflict with Iran does come as a top advisor to Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, Ron Dermer, is in the United States today. He will reportedly meet with the Biden administration to discuss the next steps for the war inside Gaza. Guys, back to you.
Trey, what is the situation? How intense is the fighting becoming now in southern Gaza right now? We saw a plume of black smoke earlier today. Is it sort of where it's been the past few weeks, or is there an escalation?
So the fighting has certainly intensified in southern Gaza, specifically around the city of Khan Yunis. This is Gaza's second largest city, where we understand, according to sources inside the Strip, it's not just Hamas cells that are fighting the Israelis, but also smaller factions like PFLP and DFLP. The Israelis say over the past several days they've lost 19 soldiers, and a number have also been injured in these battles. We've seen some of the images released by Hamas and Islamic Jihad showing ambushes against Israeli forces in this area. They are fighting street by street, block by block. It is extremely bloody and intense battle, and the Israelis say they're not letting up. Over the weekend, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said the coming days will actually see an increase in fighting as the Israelis look to go after Hamas leadership in the southern part of Gaza.
Trey, I spent a lot of time on the network the weeks leading into this offensive before they actually went into Gaza, and we pontificated and tried to intelligently guess at what these tactics would look like, what this urban warfare might look like for the Israelis. We didn't see it in the north as much. It seems like the south, we're really seeing it. Are you starting to see the Israeli Defense Force adapt to the techniques and tactics that Hamas is using? Are there any major surprises, or are they pretty much prepared for what's getting thrown at them?
So we've been inside Gaza with the Israelis a number of times since this ground operation began, and you see the threats up close. The soldiers are incredibly concerned about being hit by things like anti-tank guided missiles, but specifically RPGs, many of them that were made inside Gaza. And so they're popping out of tunnels and they're firing on Israeli forces. The one thing they're dealing with in the south that they didn't face as much in the north is roadside bombs. Now, Hamas released a video over the weekend of them planting and detonating a roadside bomb next to a jeep of Israeli soldiers, and we understand in that explosion a number of casualties took place. And so Israel is facing not just those threats on the ground, there are sniper positions belonging to Hamas and Islamic Jihad, and they're using all of these different mechanisms and aspects of the battle to strike Israeli forces in the Strip, and that is why the casualty rate has been so high over the weekend.
Trey, can you talk about the significance of Israel taking out this guy that you mentioned, the senior advisor to the IRGC, Saeed Razi Mousavi, in an airstrike in Syria? Apparently, this guy was close to Qasem Soleimani. He's responsible for coordinating the military alliance between Iran and Syria. And now Iran and the IRGC, they're both saying that Israel is going to pay the price for killing him. Tell us about the significance of who he is, why Israel decided to take him out now, and could this mean that the war is going to widen as a result?
What we saw this weekend with the targeted assassination of Saeed Razi Mousavi is a significant escalation in the conflict, and we shouldn't be quiet about this because this is something we've not yet seen since the conflict in Gaza began with the October 7th massacre 81 days ago. This was likely an Israeli strike. They will not be on the record about taking responsibility for it. It was a strike just south of Damascus, and Mousavi is a man who previously was close to the IRGC leader Qasem Soleimani, who was taken out in a drone strike, you might remember, in 2020 in Baghdad. But this is a man who was responsible for the funding and support for Iranian proxies across the Middle East, focusing on Syria, but also getting those precision-guided missiles and other military supplies into southern Lebanon to be used by the Lebanese militant group Hezbollah. So taking out this top IRGC commander is a signal by Israel that they are willing to go after Iranian leadership across the Middle East. And it's part of the reason you've seen such an Iranian response in terms of the rhetoric. You saw not just Iranian President Ibrahim Raisi saying that the, quote, Zionist regime will pay a price, but also Iran's foreign minister saying Tel Aviv should count down. These are direct threats, and they should not be taken lightly. There could be a response. It's part of the reason Israeli forces in the north remain on high alert. They are concerned there will be a direct response, not just from Syria, but also from southern Lebanon. And remember, the Iranian-backed group Hezbollah has things like precision-guided missiles that could target this city. It's not just that border that they are concerned about. They have to remain on high alert across the country.
Yeah, with what's going on in the Red Sea, Syria, Yemen, Lebanon, Israel, of course, Gaza, it certainly is concerning and all-encompassing. Trey Yingst live for us this morning. Trey, thank you so much.
Thanks, Trey.